Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I am making Manya Mary's hash today. It's one of our favorite dishes. We have some that we have more often than we have the others, but this is a very simple dish that I like to make when I'm not really going to be cooking, and I don't want to be cooking too much today. I have to get my shopping list together for tomorrow. All right, now I can't tell you. I took 4 Eastern potatoes because they have more moisture in them. They'll cook faster. If you use Idaho potatoes, they're drier, but they take longer to cook and the skin will have more flavor to it. Eastern potatoes don't. So like when I make truffle mashed potatoes, I like using the Eastern potatoes because I can leave the peelings on. When I use the Idaho, the skin is so strong it takes away from the truffle flavoring that I want in my mashed potatoes. So I'm going to use Eastern potatoes. Now the original recipe during the Depression was 5 pounds of potatoes to 1 pound of ground meat, and if you were lucky you added 1 onion. Well, we've sort of changed it, but this is in memory of Manya Mary and my relatives that went through the Depression, so we have it in memory of them, and it's become a favorite dish. Except now I use a lot less potatoes, but I still use a whole onion and a pound of ground meat, preferably more on the lean side. You don't want it too chunky because then you'll have too much fat in the dish. And I'm sure at that time Manya didn't tell us that she used chuck where there was more fat in it, but she had to make sure because she was feeding a lot of children and her husband and stuff, because families were trying to come together to help each other, especially if you were immigrants at that time, and my relatives were immigrants, so there was a lot of unity trying to hold the family together for survival. So that's how they probably had it, but I use more of the lean because I don't want that much. I don't mind fat because I know my body, my kidneys need it. There's fat around organs to protect them. You also need fat to hold body heat in as well, but you don't need a ton of it. All right, let's be honest. We need fat, but we don't need a ton of it. So, and remember, fat has nutrients in it. But you don't have to eat this much, but you can eat a moderate amount, and your liver does produce 1 tablespoon of lecithin a day, so you know that you will be getting fat because the lecithin is produced in the body to make sure that that fat is utilized and put properly and not building up in our arteries and everything else. Okay, so let me get an onion. I'm going to chop one up. Now I leave my peelings on for this dish. I'm sure Manya Mary, my Aunt Manya in Italian means aunt, I'm sure that she peeled her potatoes because that was the thing that they did at the time. Now, if you peel your potatoes and you're collecting your peelings, you can use the potato peelings with the peelings you're collecting to make a stock. It doesn't harm it, just gives it more flavor. You can see I just peeled my onion, that's all. You don't have to chop this fine at all. I know I've already done a video on this, but a lot of new members have come in since then, so they don't know where this recipe comes from or how to make it. That is, oh God, that is a strong onion. Get this pan hot. We'll put some oil in it. I'm sure she used lard at that time. So you can see that we've changed this recipe just a bit for more modern. Because she had to make things work. I woke up to the temperature of 58. We're in August. Now that's more it's into September, into October weather. This isn't hot yet. So the only other thing we really add into this is salt and pepper. She didn't always have pepper, so the only thing she could add was salt. My sons like putting ketchup on it when I serve it. This has become a tradition in our house. So imagine if she used lard in this, what it would taste like. And 5 pounds of potatoes with 1 pound of ground meat, and I'm sure it was a fatty ground meat. Oh my God. People today would say, cholesterol, Bill. You know, that is a lot of cholesterol, yeah. But they had to survive. And the thing was that they had to keep the hunger off. And women know fat will prevent hunger. And she had children she had to feed, so she had to do it. Whatever she did because she had to feed the children. This is just a few potatoes. Imagine the pot she had to use with 5 pounds of potatoes and 1 pound of ground meat. But everything was measured out. Nothing was left to chance. Everything was utilized. Any of you have recipes from your grandparents that go back to the Depression era? It becomes a family tradition in your family? Because it's remembering. of their Thanksgiving. We remember the Pilgrims, but you know who saved the Pilgrims? It was American Indians that did. The Pilgrims would not have made it through the winter or anything if it wasn't for the American Indians. They're the ones that brought them the food and their memory. So it was they who saved our founding fathers for this country. A lot of people, they don't talk about it. But they are the ones. You need a spatula to keep you can scrape the bottom, other than that they're going to stick like crazy and burn. And you know they're going to stick and get very dark brown, but you try to prevent them from burning. So just think, if the Indians didn't help those people, the Pilgrims, when they came, we would not have an America, we would not have Thanksgiving or anything else. And a lot of people don't know that our Constitution, our very Constitution, is built on the great law of peace that the American Indians had. That's how they learned to live together. So when you really study the real history, you actually find out how much the American Indians have given to this country to help this country to become a country. And that is a great thing, and I think we should remember them as well as at Thanksgiving. If it wasn't for them helping the Pilgrims, if it wasn't for them, when you think of the 4th of July, if they didn't give us the great law of peace to help us learn to live together and become a force that we are of today, we wouldn't be. So they have given us a whole lot. Now, I'm going to be cooking these until these potatoes are done, and then I will be back. But I will be coming back and forth, scraping them to make sure that they don't burn, but they do brown. Okay, turn your heat down, and if you have to add a little more oil to it, add some more oil. Prevent it from burning. I had to. I'm going to show you what the pan does. It can burn very easily if you're not careful how you do this. So I'll turn you down and show you. You see it? Right there? The bottom of the pan is like that. So turn your heat down. If you have to add some extra oil, add some extra oil. We're going to let these potatoes cook just till done, and then we're going to sit there and add the ground meat. Okay, the potatoes are just done. They'll finish up getting softer as we brown this meat up in here. So it's not that they're going to stay there. They're going to continue cooking. And the only thing you would add here when we're done tearing this up is you would add salt if you need. You'd have to taste it for salt. And now what you do is brown the ground meat, and that's it. This is a very simple dish to make. It's quick and it's easy. If you have Idaho potatoes and you use them, please remember they're going to take longer because they're not as moist as the eastern potatoes. turn it up. I'm going to be browning the meat now, and I know there is some fat in it. I want to see if I can this. And also can corned beef hash. I think I'm going to try it. I hope I don't mess up too bad or it's going to end in the trash, and that's a lot of money to go down the trash. Because we used to have corned beef hash, and my mother would fry eggs and put it on top of it. That was a lot of protein, believe it or not. As simple as the dish was, there was a lot of protein because you had the meat, you had the starch, and then you had the eggs on top of it. And remember, 2 eggs is 13 grams of protein. Then my mother would give us milk on top of it. So that meal, as simple as it was very high in protein. Had a glass of milk, was 12 ounces. And then you sat there and we had the 2 eggs, which was 13, so we're at 25. You see where it starts adding up? We haven't even gotten to the meat yet. So some of these very, very simple dishes have a lot of protein. We just don't think about it at the time. I turn the heat up on this so we can get this meat brown and cooked. And then this dish is done except for salt to taste. I don't think we've had this one for months. Now, the start of the holidays in my parents' home was on Halloween night. When we came in, there would be chili and polenta. And that was the start of the holidays. Once we had that, we knew we were in holidays. And it ended when the ball fell down. They would make me go, I hated staying up seeing that stupid ball drop and say, Happy New Year! I said, Happy New Year? Why is it Happy New Year? Everybody's going to be arguing the next day. I said, so I sleep through the New Year. And they say, whatever you're doing is what you're going to do for the rest of the year. Well, I go to bed early because I don't want to see it coming in. It's bad enough I know it's there than when I wake up. People say, Happy New Year, Sandy. I said, don't call me till the next morning because I'm going to be asleep. So I'm not going to answer my phone. There. Now, was that a hard dish to make? No, very easy. Turn it off. You put the lid on it. What I have to do, we usually serve this with a salad, and I still have more of that dressing left from the basil and tarragon vinaigrette. So I'll throw that over the greens that I'm going to do, and I'll probably throw a lot of fresh fruit, dried fruit, nuts. As the guy said, that's too healthy for me. I thought that was the cutest thing. I love some of the comments that you get. They are so cute. And by the way, those red peppers were warm by themselves. And once I put it into the dish, it wasn't a fire hot dish. But don't put them in your mouth for long because they are quite warm. Anyway, listen, take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.